By the way, just let everyone know I'm recording this. So that's great. That sounds great, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to
We
put that.
gotta get back and do some more stuff with you guys. We did one show with you guys, and we got to get back and do some more stuff with you guys.
Yeah,
we're gonna be we're gonna be at NACAD coming up next week.
NACAD where's it at?
It's in I think it's in Iowa. I think it's in Iowa.
Oh, NACAD, okay.
More people coming in.
It's up north, eh?
Yeah, it's the NAECAD, National Association of Esports Coaches and Directors.
Yep.
And it's their clinic. It's in Des Moines, Iowa.
So let me share this out on our network real quick.
Here, I'll put that in the chat. I'm gonna put this in the chat for you.
And this is open for anybody to join?
Well, so we get a certain amount of memberships we can give out to certain coaches and stuff like that. But I mean,
I meant this broadcast.
Oh, this broadcast. This broadcast. Anybody can come on. Just send them the link. If you want to share the link with anybody, share the link, share the love. We're just here to share a little bit of information we have on marketing and stuff like that, and different ideas and options that people have can do for that. And the more the merrier, you know.
Okay, I'm posting it on our socials now. I said hello to Pete, but I don't think his mic's on yet.
His mic's on. His camera's not on though.
Oh.
He can probably supposedly he can hear you. Just can't see you.
There he is.
Oh,
There he is.
got a couple of images going on here. How are you guys?
There you go. So it's the more important Pete, not that Mayor Pete, right? It's the the real Pete.
Right. How you got? How's everything? Just getting this one started for today. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we're just getting that started for today.
Right.
So we're supposed to start at noon, so we still have half an hour.
Oh, all right. You know what? I'm probably gonna come back to you guys then.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some running around today. I was afraid I was only going to be able to catch a half an hour of it. Looks like it might be the other side of it.
Yeah. So come back in a half an hour or whatever. Come back. I'm recording this, so.
Oh, great.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
If you miss it, I'll send it to you, and we can go from there.
Yeah, perfect, man. The topic sounds fascinating, of course, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all about it.
Well, thank you, my friend.
All right. Take care now. I'm gonna sign off for now, but I'll be back.
All right.
See you soon, Ray.
All right.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I just posted it out there as well. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, I sent a screenshot to you and the link to the NACAD thing.
I did look that up. I saw NACAD. I went to their website. It's interesting because this is with Esports Business Network. I sometimes stumble into the secondary and collegiate, realm of esports, and then I usually, wrong room. let me leave that room, close that door. I'm gonna go back to corporate commercial esports and stay away from that room over there. But I do, recommend folks to go reach out to Danny Martin and other folks out there that are doing things. TexF for Texas Scholastic Esports Federation, and a few different people. I think it's hard right now with the hashtag play versus never situation going on to like really dial in on that one on the education side, but I know you do great things in that space as well, with the younger esports professionals. Or
Yeah, we were a lot with high school and college and all that stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, what Danny is doing with exposure is really great. And he actually has a little seminar coming up pretty soon with a bunch of really cool people.
he's speaking at South by Southwest, so
Yeah, I think he has a panel coming up that's very interesting that I was looking at.
yeah, blacks in esports. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Danny's pretty out there. He's also doing a thing on at HyperX. He's going to do something on HyperX pretty soon as well.
I know he's sponsored by them, so I don't know if they're bringing him out or what the situation is.
Yeah, but the Black to Esports thing on February 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. should be a pretty cool thing,
Yeah. It's a virtual webinar.
Yeah, virtual webinar. They got a DJ there. They got Keith Pink, got Jordan Capel, Christopher Turner, LT Burley, and of course Danny.
Yeah. I'm getting my folks up in here. Who's this guy? Oh. So what are you noticing trends in the industry as far as marketing?
So we're seeing, a lot of increases in affiliate marketing. I think that's some of the bigger things. A lot of people are turning into making a lot of money in the affiliate marketing and growing their brands through affiliates, through not just through the traditional things like Amazon, making money on Amazon, which I would talk about in the thing, but also, people finding their niche, choosing different platforms, finding relevant, content marketing programs that relate to what they're doing. And I think that's one of the biggest keys, is finding that relatable programs that relate to what you're doing. Because too many people are jumping into all these different programs and they have nothing to do with what they're doing, because they think they can jump into that program and make a quick buck, and then they end up not really, maybe making a few bucks, but it's not anything that they're doing. It doesn't grow them. It doesn't grow their brand. It doesn't do any of the things. You need to have a clear, definable set of goals that you want to do and stick to those targets, because there's a million different targets you could aim at, but is that really going to help you?
Yeah.
So
that's where I started. Absolutely. Within the affiliate marketing. I can't remember, what is it called? Is it called ClickBank? Is like the major like aggregator of affiliate opportunities or something like that.
It's changed. They're still doing that. I mean, the biggest one affiliate is obviously Amazon, but and that's where you do a blog or a post and you put your link into that into the notes field where you mention it, and people click on that link and they go and they buy that product, and you get upwards of 10%. I mean, you can get from 1% to 10% a commission on that sale, and you can make some great money. So that's obviously, but you got to do something. But again, you got to have a target market and target that grows your brand, that people can relate to, that you can inspire people to go click. You could be talking about and say, I'll put a link to an Amazon coin, and people can buy that coin. But if your people aren't concerned about that coins or stuff like that, then it doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's interesting. That's something that as a young entrepreneur like myself, am learning now on that aspect, but I can't speak so much to just posted this wrong. I can't so much speak to what someone who's just graduating from high school, how they don't have the experience, they haven't gone through the war to know anything about what content is
Yeah.
and what the purpose of creating content is.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to discuss is like, you know, what do you create? What content are you creating and why are you creating this content?
Yeah, I'm
Because
that topic.
yeah, because if you're just creating content and you have no relevance for what you want to do, it's never going to go anywhere. And you're never going to amount. It's never going to amount. I mean, let's say never. There's there's always exceptions to the rules and people who blast out things and create that. Hello, Amy. Welcome to the jungle, Amy. I can't hear you, Amy.
Hi there, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Good. The timing has kind of messed with me. I'm on the East Coast
Okay.
and
We're
I'm
actually gonna
like,
get started at 12 noon, but me and Trent are chatting already. We're talking about
oh,
we're just talking about affiliate marketing, which is one of the topics today, and we were talking about defining a set definable goals and choosing something that is relevant to what you're to where
Yeah.
you want to end up.
Yep. Yeah, it's important to do that when you're young and just starting out, when you've got energy and an open mind, right? To allow experiences when you're still learning about things to kind of help you guide, which path you want to take. When I started some 30 odd years ago, it started with, well, I don't like the internships that my college is offering me. I'm going to go see what my friends at, BU and Emerson do. And, that's where it all started. I walked into the local radio station in Boston, said, hey, I really want to learn about what you're doing. And, I was lucky enough to, get hired by, it was an unpaid internship. I did a lot of volunteer work in those early days, but to be around that group of people and kind of learn the ropes was amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. There was a lot of value in it, but you do have to, really try to stay focused in finding the path that, that is meaningful to you. So anyway.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. And, people always tell me, oh yeah, I'm going to get rich quick. There's no get rich quick. Okay. Yeah, you
Some
can win the
people do,
lottery,
but-
but you play it for 10 years.
Mr. Zuckerberg.
Marilyn Monroe did not start out a star. She started out
Oh no.
4
Yeah.
years. She worked 4 years on a chorus line, so it's,
Yeah.
and she spent a lot of years honing her talents and it's the same with anybody, it's wherever you are in business, you hone your talents by giving and donating and volunteering and interning for free. And then you learn the business, it's like was a big rapper guy. I forget, P Diddy, I think. He started washing cars at a soundstage. He washed cars for a year, and then every once in a while he would go in and learn the mixer board, and he learned it, and then they had him do more and more stuff, and next thing you know, he's a billionaire. It's like, but he wasn't a billionaire overnight,
Right. And I think it takes people like, he probably had somebody that was on the mixing board that said, hey, that saw in him that energy and that enthusiasm about it. And they, gave him a hand up. So I think
Absolutely.
that's, something that we all need to consider, especially in this day and age. It takes a village. It really takes, the people that are in the industry helping to build the young and the entrepreneurial up and bring them up the ladder, because, Trent, you probably know a heck of a lot more about, social media and coding websites and things than I'll ever be able to learn, but it's certainly something that's very relevant in this day and age. And, what you're talking about, Jeff, as far as the, the subject of this call. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it's
enough of me talking. I've got some work that I got to do too, because on the East Coast, it's Friday at 3:00. So I'm going to
you
try
get the last minute things. You got to get finished for the day. So you go
I
do
do.
your work, listen to what we're talking about. And we're going to start in a little bit and we'll go from there. Hopefully we
Thank you.
get people, but yeah, thank you so much for coming aboard. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll be listening, and if I can pop in and make myself known, I will. I'm looking forward to seeing some people that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Talk soon.
Hi, Helena. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I had some trouble getting on.
That's okay. We're going to get started in about 15 minutes. So, but we
Okay.
were just chatting. I think there was a miscommunication in the calls. It was put out. It was put out a little bit for 11, but it actually starts at 12. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
I thought,
Tell
well,
me about
then in
yourself.
the description, it says 9, so.
Oh, it depends on 9 East Coast time. No.
Yeah, well, I'm on the West Coast, so we were very confused between yesterday and today, but
I
I'm
see.
glad that I haven't missed anything.
Yeah, Missy. So tell me about yourself.
So I just started a position with the San Jose Barracuda, which
Okay.
is the affiliate of the Sharks,
Yeah.
and I'm in corporate sales. So partnership is pretty much all I'll be doing. This is my first role in sports, but I have been in sales for 8 years or so now. So yeah, just really interested to learn more about partnership and sponsorship from you guys.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Glad, yeah. That's what drives everything, and so, we're happy to be a part of what you're doing, and we would love to have you, love to work with you on some future things. We're doing some events all over the country this year, so we'd love to work with you and maybe figure out a way we can partner with you. It's all about what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that would be great.
Opportunities here, explore, answer some questions. It's more of a free form chat thing. I have some agenda stuff that we're going to talk about and bring up some subjects, and then we're all going to be a part and help each other climb the ladder. Like, Amy was saying earlier, you can, if you climb the ladder alone, it's a rough climb, but if you climb with somebody, it's a much easier climb. I climb mountains like El Capitan and Half Dome and up in Yosemite all the time. And whenever you go alone, you die. Whenever you climb with a buddy, you make it to the top, So
Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So we were earlier, Trent and I were talking about affiliate marketing, and we were talking about that being, a really way to create alliances and to find relevant partners in that. Because when you create an affiliate, when you get an affiliate, you develop that relationship, and then that relationship generates into more of a partnership or sponsorship avenue, because you are connecting with other brands in that aspect and feeding them. So if I go out and I join an affiliate program for Dell, and I then sell Dell systems, then Dell sees that we're moving product, and then they go and say, how can we move more product with you? And I can say, well, if you gave me $100,000, then we can turn that into, some really good opportunities for you and showcase it, and so that affiliate marketing is not only a way to make money, generate money right away in your business by getting a commission off of things that you're selling, but it can then generate there. And so that we So that's one thing we talk. And how you deliver your message is something that we also talk about a lot in partnerships. When you brand your message, how are you going to brand your message? And we look at when branding a message, there's kind of four core points that you want every message to focus on. So you have to focus on making sure your message is exciting,
Oh,
making sure that it has that you are distinguish yourself from other messages. So how are you distinguishing yourself or showing that you're different than just anybody else out there? There's a million YouTubers out there. Trentson, he had his podcast and his little TV show, his little show. But how did Trent discern himself from the other 50,000 people out there doing similar things? So how are you distinguishing your message and your branding? And then what are you doing to make your message more interesting? If your message is dull and just you copy and paste some banner from that somebody else used, and or this and that doesn't make me interested in what you're doing. You have to make yourself an interesting brand. You have to make yourself an interesting message. So the message you get out when you deliver a message has to be interesting. And the fourth point, and the last point, is it has to be relevant to your audience. If you're out there talking about something and your audience is not interested in that subject, then you've wasted their time and you wasted your time, because no one. So you have to have that. It has to be exciting, has to distinguish yourself, has to be very interesting in what you're talking about. It have to be interesting, and has to generate a relevance to your audience. Has to have a message. And as long as those four things are covered, exciting, distinguished, interesting, and audience, those four pillars, then I think in your message will then relevant out to that and become a success. As I can see, if you have another opinion and you have another fifth one that you think that would do, I would love to hear it, because I think that. But those are the four pillars that I draft whenever I draft a message or an art piece or a graphic or a post or anything. I make sure that I cover those 4 points: exciting, distinguished, interesting, and audience. Focusing on those four, and so that's what I do. And I'd love to hear your opinion if you have another opinion. Like Trent, what do you think?
For her in particular, I was actually just kind of adjusting the graphic that actually gave me, because it says yesterday, but I fixed it. With her and the corporate partnerships aspect and that level up from affiliation to creating a contract, agreeing to a deal, money up front, money during, and money after the fact. When you're young, you don't get these opportunities because you've got no network. You have no network. You've got no one to refer and no experience. And that's not young being 18. That's young being fresh off the boat in the industry, right? You have no contacts. You can't reach out to anybody. It's communities like the Esports Circus, communities like EBN, communities like Esports Trade Association, these communities that you got to get yourself out there, be extroverted, and put yourself in conversations that might be hard for you to speak about. And that's not exclusive to the esports industry. That's marketing in general. You have to go out there and sell yourself. And on the affiliate side, you can get away kind of being introverted, just throwing links out there willy-nilly, seeing if something will stick. But in the actual game pros, you have to be tactical and make sure that you're making the right decision in regards to who you're partnering with, who you're affiliating with. And there's another terminology that's being thrown around there called alliancing. What is the allying with, right? The terminology allying with, which is very relevant right now. And you got to be careful who you're being an ally with, and especially in the corporate scene, because if you post the wrong thing, then you get canceled on Twitter, you get canceled on social media. Offline, maybe you get a slap on the wrist or something like that, but in online world, the consequences are a little bit more heightened and kind of more transparent.
Yeah, we live in a PC world, but I'll caveat that by saying it's okay to take risks. It's okay to take risks if you have something that you feel is a relevant, that person adds character, adds something, and obviously if you see a red flag, it's a red flag. But when you're in the industry can forgive and does forgive all the time. And you go out and you make alliances, and you make and you make a good faith effort on your end. People tend to say, okay, I understand that, and we move on from there. But it's it's okay, and it's actually good to take risks, because risks mean that you're out there you're activating. If you just sit back and are too scared to activate, then you hurt yourself even further. But if you activate and then something comes up and it becomes an issue, then you deal with that issue and you move on. But because we're all going to do that, we're all going to make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and we'll probably make some more. But so you got to make sure that you go out there and take risks and open yourself up, because that's the way you find those gems.
Yeah. Does any of that resonate on the corporate side?
Helena?
Sorry, I'm also eating my lunch, so
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have to make sure that whatever brand we partner with does align with our values and things like that, and vice versa. But also, working with where we're an affiliate team of a larger team, a more visible team, making sure that I'm not stepping on any toes with their partnerships. So kind of taking that into consideration. But also like you said, connections. So that's definitely like how I've always sold, is by connections. So one challenge that I'm facing in this role is just that so now I'm based in San Jose. I got here last week from Boston, so I haven't really made a lot of connections in the area. I'm still getting to know the businesses and stuff. So yeah, there's definitely some hurdles, but I agree, taking risks and things like that, I'm not going to get anywhere if I don't. So as much as I want to, be respectful to our larger team, I'm also going to go after big wins.
Are you originally from Boston?
Yeah.
So you're a Boston woman now living in California.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so what was your niche before you got into this esports space?
I was in CPG, so I worked for Pepsi, and then I worked for Kraft Heinz.
So the language of food, right?
Yeah, and I do know the language of corporations as well. So,
but the language of esports, like, more recently, approaching gaming sponsors and things like that, using gamer language, not gamer language in the negative sense, but in the positive sense of saying, let's prepare a quest Maybe this is a side quest, maybe this is the mainline quest, but we're trying to accomplish this goal to gain experience. And as we collect XP, we're going to learn different things and pick up new skills and traits. How can we, at the end of this day, level up?
So I think, yeah, you got to definitely speak the language of your audience. You know, that goes back to one of the 4 pillars that I spoke about earlier. You gotta be able to know your audience and relate to your audience and speak to them at their level. You know, if you're speaking to your audience and you're all hoity-toity and speaking like, you know, somebody from, somebody from some hoity-toity fancy village, then they're not going to understand what you're saying, you know. And then but if what you're saying is relevant to the audience that you're speaking, and they become interested in that, then they will relate to what you're saying and they will buy into your message more because you're speaking in their language. Absolutely. So Trent's absolutely dead on that point. You know,
the recent trends, I'm so sorry to cut you off, Jeffrey, but recent trends that we are seeing in marketing says that in today's world, brand to brand marketing will increase, being in terms of partnership. What do you guys think? Like, is that the trend that we are going on since the corona situation has come down? Everything went online, but has an adverse effect on brand to brand marketing per se during event sponsorships or live events?
Shab, thank you. I don't want to deviate for a little bit, but we'll put that on the back burner. We'll get to that before we move on and away from Helena and talking about what we're talking about. But brand to brand partnerships, B2B, we'll talk about that. But this is more of the B2E, business to enterprise conversation we're talking about right now. But we'll bring it back to B2B.
Yeah, I mean, but it all relates. I mean, enterprise and business and consumer, B2C, B2E, B2, all these different, all relate in the same thing. They all can cross over in how you deal with them. So Rashid is right in that aspect that they all relate to it, and they all and the message has changed since the pandemic and all that. But to go to the C2C, where you're trying to, corporate, you're trying to relate to other kinds of brands. And I find that one of the things that Trent mentioned earlier, which was the Esports Trade Association, though the organizations like that, like we're going to NACAD next week, and that's an organization that deals with coaches and has other brands there. We're going to meet with other brands there as well. So, connecting in I would say the best thing you can do for yourself is to join an organization like the Esports Trade Association or something like that in that aspect. Because as you join these organizations and be involved in them, the opportunities for partnerships and branding are 10 times more, because everyone's coming together on to work with this organization that you're volunteering for, or being a part of in some way, and it's a lot easier sell. If you come to someone as a customer and trying to sell someone, no one likes to be sold. No one likes to be sold. No one likes to go into a car dealership and say, I have to deal with a car dealership. But if you go into if you go to a car show and you're relating with that person in that aspect, the sale is much easier because you're friends. You have a relationship, you have a common ground. So that's definitely where we're doing. And we have some new wonderful people coming. Heather is an amazing woman. She knows all about marketing. And we have Amy coming aboard too. But yeah, so what are some of your pain points? What are some of the points that you're trying to overcome right now?
Me personally?
Yeah, well, or you or your business, I mean, you and your career, trying to, trying to relate to what your, marketing and stuff like that. So what are some of the things that you're trying to, the pain points you're trying to do? So you're coming into this new company, you're coming from Pepsi, you have that, you speak the corporate language. What are some of your points that you're trying to overcome?
So like I said, just like getting to know the actual corporations in the area, and just getting that initial meeting with them. So being relevant to these companies. We're not the Sharks, but we still have a lot to offer. We're opening a brand new arena. So right now the biggest challenge again is just getting those initial meetings. Once I'm in front of somebody, I feel confident in my ability to sell, but yeah, just making those connections and getting in front of the right person has been the biggest challenge so far.
Right. So you got to go to where those people are, and where those people are places like the Esports Trade Association, NACE, different events and stuff like that are happening around. So by going to these, if you want to go and talk to the different things, NACAD is, we're going to next week is, the esports coaches and administrators and stuff like that. So that's, the directors of teams, like, hi, and so you go to where they are, and then you can get into that. We're doing an event in, we're doing an event in South Carolina, and we're connecting with, the Charlotte Phoenix, and we're working with them. We're doing an event, we're doing events all over the country, and we're working with a lot of the pro teams in those areas. We're going to, we're doing a thing in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and so we're working with Nerd Street and the Knights in Pennsylvania. So we're going to these areas, and we're connecting with those people in those areas because that's their playground. So by going into these communities, we're kind of connecting with these resources that we need, and we're developing partnerships there.
That's really funny. Helena,
Yeah.
you were like born in Worcester?
Yeah, and I grew up right outside of Worcester. So yeah.
Oh,
So the
so were
Sharks.
they the Ice Cats? You're born, I'm sure, later than 95, right?
No, I was born in 1990. But so I saw the Ice Cats many, many times. And then the Sharks actually came. So now I work. So they were the Worcester Sharks. And then they moved, and then the current owners moved them back here so that if they needed to bring guys up, they were actually like available and not across the country. So yeah, I think the Ice Cats left in I don't know when the Ice Cats left.
I left
but
in 97.
So
a long time ago.
the Sharks left Worcester in 2015, and they came here and became the Barracuda, and now that's who I work for. So
All right.
So full circle.
So did you follow them? Did you work in Worcester? Or I heard earlier you had a different industry that you were working in.
Yeah. I mean, I was in high school when the Sharks were playing there, and then I went to college in North Carolina. So I didn't really go to I went to plenty of Ice Cats games as a kid, but not really any Worcester Sharks games. And then now they're the Railers who feed into the Islanders. So
you're working for the hockey team out in San Jose, and you're selling sponsorships, packages, things like that. Yeah. And you need to, so the best thing you can do, I think, just in my experience, and it was a long time ago that I worked there, get in touch with all of the youth hockey organizations, obviously, find out, which ones, where they play and which rinks they're in. make sure you're in on, a lot of times the team that you're representing, they're building a new arena, right? So that's where they'll
So we're-
practice. Right.
Yeah, so our new arena is actually where most of the youth hockey currently plays. So
Right.
they're like going to be right there for us, which is exciting.
And a lot of the youth hockey parents have expendable money. A lot of
Right.
them are business owners.
Mhm.
So it'd be probably a good idea to, send something out through their circulation, whether they have a newsletter, an email list to all of the hockey parents. Hey, we've got these business opportunities at the new arena. Make sure you price them accordingly, because a lot of the people have small businesses that, you want like real hockey fans, people that are going to be excited to see their Dasher ad on the rink board, or, a banner somewhere. And then obviously Ringmaster Jeffrey, what your esports, theme here is, how to communicate with those people through modern day, communications, right? And that's what we're
Right.
all here to kind of do. But yeah, it's all about that affinity, establishing a relationship, establishing, yourself within the community. Make sure there's probably some girls and boys clubs and things that you'll want to make sure that the players and I don't know if you're involved with the promotions and, the other end of marketing the team, but it's important for the players to have, that face time with young kids and community organizations. And a lot of times when that happens, you develop this, like what Jeff was talking about earlier, you establish this reputation and, goodwill amongst the people that you're trying to sell. And it becomes very easy for people to support you through, through that kind of thing, because they know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And, that's the other thing is, this is something that that a lot of people before me taught me, is you always, promise less than what you're willing to give, and that that you'll give. You always over deliver and under promise. So.
Under
Yeah.
promise, always deliver. That's a key thing. That goes back to a guy named Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
He used to say that all the time, And if you want to be a great salesperson, Dale Carnegie is definitely a person to listen to. When I was growing up, Dale Carnegie, Zig Ziglar, Tom, this guy Tony Robbins. Now I like him. I listen to him,
Yeah.
but all these, all this, and that's, I would say, also besides doing that, join the organizations that all these hockey moms belong to. So, in your areas, join the PTAs, join the Chamber of Commerce, join these things, because this is where they all hang out. A volunteer at organizations. I volunteer at with the Red Cross and at food banks. I work with Habitat Humanity building houses. I was building a house with a bunch of people one day, and I was talking to a guy, and we ended up doing business together. And I made a good deal of money with that relationship, that I met that guy as we were hammering nails into a piece of wallboard to build a house for somebody, and philanthropic charities and stuff like that. If you're just business, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. That's the three pillars: know, like, and trust. So, yeah. So it's like, if you're, if you want to really relate to people, deal with business, I always, and giving back, giving back is an important part of being a business person. You got to have some level of charitable giving back, philanthropic something like that. Just going to a corporate office every day does not necessarily cut it. You have to have some level of giving back and supporting the people out there who need support. And it's like I'm also part of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and I've met people at events that we've done together, and they've turned into great relationships that have turned into money. So it all, and it's, I don't do it to make those money. I do it to give back. But it always ends up, doesn't always end up, but a lot of times it ends up where you meet people there, and you end up giving back and doing good. And it's important to do good, and we do that. And then the other thing we've talked about before is in what I've talked about before is getting out where your audience is. And Trent mentioned this earlier, is finding where your audience is and being there. So who you want, look at who your target market is. Look at who you're trying to connect with. If it's corporations, if it's consumers, if it's businesses, go to look where they are, because people, I find that people go on social media all the time, and it's a great place, and social media is very important. But if you're on social media and you're targeting if you're targeting on TikTok and you mostly want to talk to corporations aren't on TikTok. Yeah, they may watch it here and there, and their kids may watch it, but corporations are on LinkedIn. Businesses are on LinkedIn. But if you're trying to get people to come to a big, a Sharks event, where they are is not LinkedIn. They are on TikTok. They are on Discord. And they are on Telegraph. They are on those channels, and you need to target those channels. And then when you go on those channels, then you also need to dive further down and find out where they are on those channels. So TikTok has a lot of different aspects to it, and a lot of different branches to where you can go. So something on Discord, what servers on Discord are you going to join? And depending on the server, you're gonna meet a whole different audience. And esports, it's even more fractured, because you'll have the Rocket League people, and you'll have the Smash people, and you'll have the Valorant people, and you'll have the CS:GO people. And the CS:GO people don't talk. I mean, they talk a little bit to the Smash people, but they don't really. And some of the Valorant people do play Smash and this and that, but they are very, very, very targeted into what they do. They relate to. They know who they are. It's like the Valorant people know who the Smash people are, and they may play Smash a little bit, but they're Valorant people. They stay in the Valorant rooms. So you need to find out, what games are you playing, who's your audience, and when you're on Discord, you need to target those servers. Am I right, Trent? I see you nodding a little there.
Yeah, it's segmented. Definitely. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to see you.
You too. I'm making a run from the school, so I got somebody watching my class to grab some controllers. I got a couple of teachers donated a couple of bucks, so I'm trying to get controllers for the Smash and Mario Kart tournament we're having at 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock this evening. 67 middle school students.
Wow.
So yeah.
Where you out of, Joe?
Sir?
Where you out of?
I'm teach in Longview, Texas, but I live in Tyler, Texas, which is 30 miles from Longview.
Okay. So tell us a little about yourself, Joe.
Okay, well, my name is Joe Mann, and I'm the founder of Thirsty Minds Design and Media. Our goal is to expose underserved youth to the gaming industry in both game development and esports competition as a career alternative. We're also, now we have officially launched our television network, which is on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire Stick. Goshen Gaming is the name of the channel on our network. And we are right now looking for content. We're offering streaming services and VOD services for anything, all thing gaming, even gaming shows, talk shows, walkthroughs, game reviews, even major tournaments. So
Joe, let's
that's
talk about getting my EBN's content up on your network.
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on there. We're gonna make that happen on the back channels.
Sounds good. Now we also offer service now. If you want your own sub channel on our network, we can talk about that too. So the number, I feel like this: we're not out to get rich, but we are out to try to just kind of pay the bills to stay up where we're at. Plus, we're on Android and iOS as well. Because my next goal is to be able to start streaming to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with getting rich, Joe. It's okay. You can want
Okay.
you can
Don't
take
get me-
that too, man.
I mean, don't get me
I want you
wrong.
to be rich, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be rich because I can take care of more kids and more families and possibly treat people better that are trying to start up.
Yeah.
Because trying to find somebody to help even nonprofits to help sponsor, find somebody to help you. Period, is like let's see, how could I put it? It's like going through a valley of poison nails barefooted.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
I was gonna
best
speak
way
to
I can
one of
put
the
it.
things. I was gonna speak to one of the things that before I said what's up to you is that 99% of the esports industry is consumer to consumer. You know, you're watching it through some application like an OTT platform like Twitch, but the viewers are consumers and most of the broadcasters are consumers with no structured business, no management, no
Correct.
agency, none of that. It's just this endless sea of random consumers, you know, with pseudonymous names and no connection to any sort of geolocation or anything. But one thing you did say that a lot of people in this industry on the sales side and marketing side are those managers. You have a team, you have people that you are actually consumers of this industry from a player standpoint, from a coach standpoint, from a team standpoint. The majority of these, you know, I won't call them, I'm going to say this, these snake oil salesmen that are, you know, working at,
Correct.
you know, no offense, at an enterprise level, selling something they just don't know about. They don't have any
Correct.
context of the reality.
Well, I think you're right in a lot of ways because what I mean, I don't think it's I think it used to be that number. I think it's come down a little bit. I think more and more business corporations are really taking it seriously and bringing on a esports team. But yeah, in the beginning, most of the corporations that were in it were just in it because it was something new and something they thought they could connect to a new consumer base, and they just tried to do it, and they got out there and like you said, Trent, they didn't speak the language correctly, and they were put, you know, and everyone put their finger out and says, you're a faker, you know. It's like, you know, you're just smurfing us, and they didn't understand what smurfing was. So I'm a smurf, great. So, you know, their corporations were coming and smurfing and smurfing the players. But I think as the industry grows and more people grow up into more corporate and more corporate structures away. I mean, you look at, you know, Ninja and how when he started, he was a consumer, and then he turned into a high-end celebrity, and now he's
That's where it gets problematic though, because if you start looking at the average dollar amount that a Twitch the minimum that you spend on Twitch advertising is $50,000. When that gets split up to the amount of content creators, you're looking at fractions of 1%, not 1%, but fractions of 1%. And so
Right.
cash doesn't speak to being any greater than 1%. That's the thing. Maybe it's 1 point something percent, but you know, until we are on a blockchain model, we're not seeing these, you know, and there's no effort from are Fortune 500 companies in making these sort of initiatives, at least in the esports industry. You know, they do in the metaverse, but not in the esports industry.
Well, I think it's because we're still really in the Wild West in the esports team. Even though gaming has been out. I mean, I played in LAN centers in the 80s when I was a kid, but as a structure, it's only been maybe 10 years, that esports has been around, and only in the last like 5 years has it really been as people woken up to how it really is serious. I mean, 10 years, 5 years, and then but it's in those years, it's skyrocketed, and people don't know where to go in this industry. It's like, because if you don't understand the consumer, if you don't understand your customer, then you're not going to be able to relate to them properly. And it's not just understanding the language, but it's understanding the whole mannerism and the how they relate. And going back to the games, if you're talking about maps and stuff like that, and you're talking to a Smash people, they don't care about maps because there is no map in Smash. It's like, and it's just, it's how you are relating to the consumer, how you're relating to who you're connecting to. Whether if you're connecting to a corporation, it's a different language. If you're connecting to consumer, and it's true, most 90+% of the people in the esports are all consumers. We're all game players. We all play games, and if you come in and you're not a gamer, we're gonna spot you out right away. You'll be spot out. We'll see you right away because you're gonna be standing out there in a 3-piece suit. And it's like, but if you try to oversell, I see a lot of people coming here and they make all these products and they try to oversell into the industry, and the kids are, just because they're kids doesn't mean they're stupid. They can spot it. They can spot a car salesman a mile down the road, and they don't. Nobody, like I said earlier, nobody likes to be sold. You got to come into them and offer them, a value proposition. People don't just walk up and tell them the features of what you have. When you walk up to an esports guy or even a corporation, and most people walk up to these people when they're doing sponsorships or looking for partnerships, and they're telling about all the features that they have. I have this, and I do this, and I do that, and this is my core feature of what I do. I don't care what your feature is. I want to know what the value proposition. What is in it for me? What's the value proposition? Where do I find value in what you're bringing to me? You can offer me a soap that smells great, but if I have no interest in a soap that smells great, then there's no value. There's no value in what you're offering to me. I'm moving down the road because there's a million other people who offer me value. So the first thing that I tell people to talk to when they talk on sponsorships is, what is your value proposition? Understand. If you understand your value proposition, you'll be way ahead of the road.
Yeah. And I was going to pitch this at you and kind of get your feedback. So that segmentation isn't only at the niche level. So if we're talking about fighting games community, like that's segmented from FPS, sports, all these different things. And that division is owned by Sony and the Saudi government at this point. So where do you see the pivots between corporation and government?
Well, I think that, governments are looking for more control, and corporations are looking for more profit. And that's it. And it all goes to what their focus is, where they're focusing on. Governments want to control things more, and corporations and governments don't really care about profits because they're a nonprofit entity anyways. And corporations, although control is important, their shareholders are the most important thing to them. Their number one thing is their shareholders and their profits are the most important thing. Control of things are important, but their focus is profits. So I think that's where you got to go to deliver your message and talk to them in the language that they're speaking. So when you're dealing with the Saudi government, you got to deal with, yes, you can control this segment of it by doing this. We can offer you this and you'll get this level of control. And then they will buy into it more because they care nothing about making money. They have the oil fields.
So speaking to like Joe's roadmap, right? So that partnership with Sony would unlock a partnership with Games Done Quick. It would unlock a partnership with because they acquired what's it called, the major FGC tournament. Now I was thinking about when I referenced it, I remembered it. Now I can't remember it. Not CEO, but the one that had the controversy with the issues. But
Play versus.
No, not Play versus the FGC tournament, the major FGT.
Oh, Evo or SmashCon?
Evo, right? Evo, right? Was purchased by Sony.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was humongous.
And then Blizzard's been acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So,
which
those
is
things kind of come down river.
Which is another subject I wanted to bring up. That's a whole talk.
So like when it comes to corporate partnerships, that's what I think if the data, that information set is what's most valuable in this conversation is like, what is the drama of corporations and who's doing what with who, and then how can those relationships benefit an affiliate marketing plan, an alliance marketing plan, or a partnership marketing plan. I think that's the highest, at least if we're talking about cash flow, that's what we're talking about today.
Right.
Recognition is, I guess, slightly different though. I think esports teams and esports organizations, they have to build so much content. It's just content focused. The more content you have in the industry, that you're basically, oversupplying the market and always being in front of people's faces, like a FaZe Clan, 100 Thieves, a TSM, these sort of organizations. The reason why they're so, they're not only their partnerships with the content, the high level of content, which is sort of, not esports necessarily.
Right. Yeah, well, I think it's not esports, but it really relates to it, and it kind of filters into the same consumer base and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I mean, at our events we do other things, like we do robot battles and we do laser tag and we do drone racing, and drone racing is not esports, but it is in a way because it's the same audience, and it still involves electronic interaction, and it still involves all that stuff. A robot wars, our robots are not these big giant battle robots that people see on the TV. They cost $100,000 to build, and you have to be an MIT engineer. Our robots are simpler robots that anywhere from a 5-year-old kid to a 105-year-old kid can play with, and they're AI driven, and you check them out and you learn how they work, and they learn how you work, and you operate the robot through Bluetooth and through connections, but it's, even though it's not considered an esports like we normally think about esports, like a Valorant, but it is an esport because it's an electronic sport. It's an electronic game you're playing. When we play our robot wars and our robots are playing soccer, it's a robot. It's a radio controlled robot playing soccer. So how does that differ from Rocket League? And it's the same concept. It's still hitting a ball into a net, with a controlled, with a radio controlled device. It's just one's virtual in the computer and one's a physical aspect, so just because things don't actually identify as a traditional esport game, I think it can be an esport.
I guess like
Hey,
my
yes,
question
I'll
is,
be
Helen,
right back.
are you okay? Got you, Joe. Are you selling your venue? What is your role at the San Diego Sharks? San Jose.
So I'm selling space. I mean, the idea is that it's going to be an entire deal, where like best case scenario, they're spending a certain amount of money on a suite, and that holds 16 people, so they can use that however they want for each game, whether it's entertaining clients or using it as a type of like employee motivation, employee gift.
Oh, okay.
They would
So you're
would
not selling
purchase
the
that.
arena.
They would purchase that, and then they would also purchase like sponsorship. So dasher boards, which are like, the signs that you see around the rink. But then there's also like the LED stuff that flashes over the tunnels, selling advertisements on the Zamboni.
Or
You
the
know what I
hockey.
mean? So it's all supposed to be part of a major deal. But the idea is that, they purchase tickets, and then they purchase advertising in the arena.
For the hockey team,
Yes.
not for an esports organization. So not for this Pacific Cup WD Black. When was this? Last year. So you're not doing another esports event.
As far as I know, no, but I mean, that doesn't mean that it won't happen. So our arena is brand new. We're still, now that we actually get to set our own schedule instead of having to work around the Sharks and concert schedules at the SAP Center. We're making our schedule, and then we have youth hockey, men's hockey, everything else like at that complex. So when our schedule's set, we might bring in other events, but that won't be
What does that mean? Who is we?
the Barracuda, my team.
Oh, the Barracuda. Oh, okay.
So the Barracuda owns the stadium.
The Sharks own the stadium technically, but yeah.
Yeah.
The stadium is being built for the Barracuda to have their games there.
Okay.
So I'm just selling like the advertising space within the arena.
Yeah.
What is the
as well as tickets.
What is the Barracuda?
It's a fish.
No, I mean,
Oh, what is who are the San Jose Barracuda? Who are they?
They're the AHL affiliate of the Sharks.
What is I don't know, it's hockey, so like this is something that
Do you know baseball? Like they're like the AAA team.
Oh,
so you have
okay.
the NHL, you have the NHL, the Premier League, where everybody that plays hockey wants to get to. And then they have like their farm
this
teams.
Is the farm team. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And so the San Jose Barracuda, they don't have an esports team.
We are a sports team.
No, you don't have an esports team.
No. I mean, I didn't realize that I was going to have like a central role on this conversation. My boss just wanted me to listen in to kind of get ideas about sponsorship in sports.
Yeah.
And thought that it would be beneficial, but no, it's not esports related.
And it doesn't have to be, because what we're doing, we're talking here, even though we're talking esports, which probably would be very relevant to what you're doing, because there are a lot of different arenas. Like if here in LA you have the crypto arena, or a Staples Center, what it used to be called, and that they've done hockey, they've done basketball, and they've done esports at that thing. So selling, you can increase your your value proposition by offering your clients the opportunity to say, hey, we'll bring an esports event, which brings an entire different audience into your arena. The same people who go to see a hockey team are a totally different audience to those who come to an esports ring. It's a totally different way of people. So, but a lot of the things that you'll understand about how to market to an esports team relate very rarely relate exactly to what you would do to speak to a baseball team or another hockey team, or the same companies that do it. And there'll be companies that are actually out there already marketing to hockey teams, but may want to say, hey, I want to market to an esports audience because that's totally the audience. I may already have a box seat at this arena, but if this arena is, I'll do it to your arena because you're going to have an esports event, and I want to market to that audience because it's a totally different type of audience, and they have different buying practices. They have different there's totally different opportunities in speaking to these people. So it's relevant. So you're welcome. We appreciate you being here, and your participation is very it will be very helpful to you, hopefully. Do that.
Helena, who's your boss? Or you mentioned your boss, so who is that?
Her name is Sam Davis. She was the
Oh.
one that found out about this, but where it changed from yesterday to today, she couldn't hop on.
Got it.
Well, we're recording this, so you can share it with her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking notes, so I'll give her a rundown.
So, so I one of the things that I want, since we're talking about, other things, there are certain things that we can talk about that I have on my list to talk about. And one of the things is, going out and reaching out to, marketing yourself out there. And there are 3 types of media that you can reach out to when you want to talk to different opportunities, whether it's consumer or corporate. And the 3 types of media that you can reach out to is, paid marketing. That's where you marketing your channel and paying for the opportunity to do that. That's like a YouTube display ads, social media ads, search engine marketing like SEM, stuff like that, offline ads, doing that. That's paid marketing. The second type of marketing that is out there is what's called owned marketing, or that's everything that relies on direct control to your business, like your website, content marketing, again, social media, whether you go out in social media, and then email marketing, and then word of mouth marketing and stuff like that. Those are the things, and then the third type of marketing out there in media types is what's called earned, which is like word of mouth, publicity, so you hold an event, people, and you publicize it, your SEO, review sites, getting on a bunch of, getting yourself reviewed, and getting speaking engagements, like coming onto the Esports Business Network and getting an interview, and getting out there and getting that social media stuff, and those are the 3 types of media outlays you can get to market yourself to your audience. Of course, when you go out to these, you want to find, again, go back to my 4 pillars, which is make sure you're relating to the audience you are, and make sure it's interesting, and make sure you distinguish yourself, and make sure your message is exciting. But in paid marketing, the benefits that you get from paid marketing is you get an instant result. So you put an ad on YouTube, and it runs before the video that the guy's chosen, and you immediately get a result. That guy either clicks on your video and goes to your link, or he watches does skip and he watches his video. So you get instant results. That's the one great thing about paid marketing. You get instant results. It's also easy to track because, you know, when you have these, when somebody clicks on your link, you know he clicked on your link. So it's a lot easier to track than all the others. And you have direct control of your message. No one is altering your message because you're the one who's delivering your message and you're paying for it. As long as it meets the criterias and is ethically responsible for the platform you're advertising on, then you control the message. And it's also easy to target your intended customer. So if you say, I want to advertise in this, you know, to this customer, and this is, I know where this customer goes, I advertise there, I'm directly responding to the customer. All the others, it's kind of a miss it. You could be going to audiences that have nothing to do with what you're talking about. So, and the cons to, you know, the negative parts to paid marketing, of course, it costs money. You have to pay for it. So, you know, and you know, and that price can go up and up and up depending on how on the platform that you're on, or on the messages, or on the breadth of what you're trying to do. You know, we do a lot of that, and it cost me a pretty penny, but you know, it's worth it in the long run. I think it's worth it. In the owned media, you know, when you're like your websites and social media and content marketing, you know, you also have complete control over this because it's your website, your social media platforms. What you post, you have complete control over when you post. It also doesn't cost much of anything, you know. It costs your time, and it costs some graphics that you pay for, maybe some graphics and stuff like that, but it's relatively low cost. And you can publish it at your discretion. We recommend when you do these things, you use some, you know, to do that. We recommend there's sites like Hootsuite, Simply 360, Sponsor Social, and there's all these sites. And what these sites do is they will allow you to publish to multiple different social media sites and multiple websites all at the same time. So you can you can schedule messages. Like we use Hootsuite a lot, and I can say at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to send out this message to these sites, and then I want to send out this. I can calendar messages months in advance, and I can set up my whole, like one day, and create my whole month of launches, and say I want it published on this minute at this day, you know, and I want it to go out to these sites, and it does that for you. And it's a lot easier than having to go to Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Discord and this and that. I can just make the message and do it on one platform, and it's a lot easier. So, but what I was talking about is that you publish directly from your own system. You don't need to go out to another platform.
What's the name of that again? You said Hootsuite?
Hootsuite. There's a couple of them. There's Hootsuite. There's another one, is Salesforce Social or Salesforce Social Studio. Simply 360 is another great one. Sprout Social and Falcon is another one. These are all different social media platforms that allow you to publish to multiple platforms all at the same time and schedule them. So it saves me so much time because I don't have to tailor. I don't have to take the same message and do it 50 times. I can just do it once, and I just choose. I want to send it to these 3 or these 5 or this one, and I can do a schedule, and it does it all for me. And but you have to keep on it, because sometimes the biggest problem with these sites is that a lot of times the social media platforms will change their algorithms, and then the links to these platforms will break, and you could have something scheduled and it doesn't go out because the algorithm has changed and the link and it's changed the platform, and so it doesn't go out. So you have to keep on monitoring it, but it saves time because you're not having to publish the same thing 50 times.
I posted one of my favorites in the chat as well. They recently added Discord as an integration. It's called Deliver.
Yeah, they're great.
Automated profile.
Could you send that to my LinkedIn if you don't mind?
Yeah. Yep, got you.
That'd be great, cause that'll help me. Cause like I said, I'm running, and one store didn't have what I needed, so I'm trying to run somewhere else. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's what I wanted to know. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I've used Deliver too. It's great. I mean, yeah, like I said, the biggest problem with these is that the social media platforms change their algorithms all the time, and then
yeah.
But as long as you keep up with it, and I have my guy Rashid who's on here who handles a lot of my social media stuff, and his team is always on it. I don't need to think about it. He does it all for me. The other thing I recommend also is, there are personal assistance site people you can get for relatively expensive. I hire a team out of India. I hire a personal assistant out of the Philippines, and you can go on to sites that can help you with that. Either Fiverr, People Per Hour, Upwork, onlinejobs.ph. Those are all people in the Philippines, and the great thing about those people is you're giving someone a job and it costs you almost pennies of the dollar. For $300 to $400 you can hire a full-time assistant. For $300 $400 a month you can hire a full-time assistant who will work really hard for you and graduated from college and has and it's really, really good. If you need someone to analyze data, Helena, if you need someone to go out and research all the companies out there, find all your customers for you and hand you the leads, hire someone from the Philippines or from India, and they will work really, really hard for you. I mean, you got to watch out. Sometimes you hire duds, but that's just the way it is. But a lot of times you hire these people out of the Philippines or of India, and they work really hard for you and will do all that research for you and hand you that, and then you can go off and do it. And there's a great book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and it's all about that you work for 4 hours and someone else is working the other 35 hours a week, and you're getting the same amount of work done because you're doing the important stuff. You're doing the stuff that you have to do. You're closing those deals. You're you're connecting with those people and making that deal. Well, someone in India is doing all the hard work for you. The grunt work that is really boring. So so that's something there. But to get back to what I was talking about, the things. The last one is like earned media, where you go out and earned media is the hardest to get because you have to earn it. But it has the highest it has highest return on investment because people trust it. The cheapest earned media I've ever done is I wrote a book. And writing a book is really easy. Everyone thinks it's really hard. But when you write a book, you're automatically considered an expert because you can publish on your thing, published author. I'm a published author. I have 5 books. And the easiest way to write a book is every day, just talk every day. Just every day talk for 15 minutes, and you can talk into a computer or into your phone. And then there are services that will take your text and turn it into take your speech and turn it into text. And then you take that text and you pass it on to a book writing, and there are book writing sites. So there's this, there's this platform called Bullhorn, and Bullhorn, what it does is it takes what you have. It's a whole studio. It's for podcasters, but it can take what you have in your text, and for pennies, it'll take that and turn it into a textbook, and then you can take that and turn that into a ghostwriter and write your book. And now you're a book. Now you're a published author on a subject. So you could be a published author on hockey teams, or a published author on sales techniques. Go and listen to Brian Tracy. Go and listen to Dale Carnegie. Take what they have, reword what they have. Just reword, because everybody is rewording. Nothing's all these. Just reword what they have, and then take that and make it your own words, and then publish that in a book, and now you're a published author. So that's just one of the. But if you get on a show, it's like if you go on Esports Business Network, and you get on Trent's show, and and now you're on his show, you got that thing. Or if you go on to the Esports Trade Association and go to one of their events, and and talk and speak at one of their conferences. These are earned marketings. You are now speaking, you're getting people looking at you, and you are the expert. So it has higher brand awareness, expands your reach. The minus points to that is, you can bring up some negative stuff. Some of these, some people will, can bring up, you can have some negative points to it, like you were talking about earlier with, going down the wrong path and being spotted as, negative. So they can take that. It can take some time for these to take effects. If you go on the Esports Business Network podcast, you can get that immediately push, but then it can take some time for it to trickle down to people and for people to take notice of it. So it can take some time, opposed to paid marketing, which you get immediate results. You pay for something, you get immediate results. But when you go on one of these shows, it can take some time for it to do. So those are the three types of marketing: paid, owned, and earned. And those are the pluses and minuses of it and what they kind of do. And so that's something definitely you can take and to it, and all that stuff. Hey, Sid, how you doing, my friend? My kid.
City. He was unmuted, but it's muted.
Hey, hello.
Hi, my friend. Tell us
Hi,
about
you're
yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome, my pleasure. Yeah.
There you go. That's good to see you back, Pete.
Yeah, sure. Good to be around you here, man.
I appreciate it, my friend. What do you do? What do you do, Sid? City?
Oh yeah. I just say. So I've been listening to. So to what you've been saying, yeah. It's pretty much different right here in Burkina Faso, because the ecosystem of esports is not really set yet. So we're trying to organize into association in order to show people what esport is really is. Yeah. So it's not as easy, but yeah. Some people I just they started to get acquainted to it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, that's great.
yeah, that's great. Yeah. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, welcome. We really appreciate you coming and being a part of our event. I really appreciate it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, it's good to see you back again, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, I made it back. I was in the car for a little while doing some driving. Actually, I'm still in the car waiting for my daughter to get done with something. But yeah, I'll pop in and listen up. There's plenty to learn. I kind of came here the same way Helena did, maybe. Not necessarily as an esports person, but definitely somebody looking to learn about the marketing and sponsorships and things like that, and how it all applies in a larger sports ecosystem, I guess.
Yeah, that's very cool. So the last thing I want to kind of go over, well, and this will relevant to Trent a lot, which is, you know, and I mentioned, you know, becoming an expert in something, you know, with publishing a book, but, you know, podcast, audio podcast or video podcast. Audio podcast is some of the fastest growing, is one of the fastest growing industries. Everybody is listening to podcasts. No one is very people are listening to radio these days. You know, radio is going back and back and back. People are in their cars and they're listening to podcasts. They're driving around listening to podcasts. They're at work, they're at home, they're listening to podcasts and what they do. Video podcasts are always popular because they have the video component to them. But an audio podcast is very inexpensive to do because you don't need to buy a camera. You know, you can go into your closet in your house, get it. All you need is a really nice microphone and a decent recorder. You know, put all your money into the microphone because the audio is the most important part, and you can record. There's a conference, if you want to investigate that, called the Podcast Movement that I go to. Okay, I've been to, and they're all about, you know, increasing podcasts and building podcasts out. And there's organizations there that'll teach you how to do a podcast, teach you how to market your podcast, get you onto other podcasts. You know, like I said, be an expert. If you go onto a bunch of podcasts and you're a guest on a bunch of shows, you're obvious, by relevance, you're considered an expert. And people like to deal with people who are experts. So you creating, yep. You agree, Ben?
Well, yeah, I can attest to that. I did a different podcast and talked about metaverse stuff, and all of a sudden I had an ex hedge fund manager, an ex VC manager, you know, hit me up on Zoom to try to pick my brain shortly after that. And it's because it's such a new industry that there are no experts except for people who are actually using it.
Right.
You know, so.
And you can make a ton of money on a podcast. Podcasts are making a lot of money. People make a lot of money on podcasts, not just in the, you know, it's hard to make money in the actual clicks, the downloads. That's a little bit harder, but you can make money on sponsorships. You can also make money on affiliate marketing. Trent and I were talking about affiliate marketing, and, you know, the fact that you can, you know, if you go onto there and you put a link on your website to, you know, you're talking about something in the podcast and you mention a product, and then you put that link to the you become an affiliate with Amazon. You go to Amazon and you can go to affiliate-programs.amazon.com. It's affiliate-programs.amazon.com, and you join the affiliate program on Amazon, and then you just put that product. If that person clicks on your link and buys that product or any product within 24 hours of clicking on that link, you get paid for that. And if they buy, for instance, if you're talking about a computer and they buy that computer, you get 2.5% of the purchase price. But if they click on your link and let's say they don't buy that computer, but then they wake up the next morning and they go buy a bed, well, you get 8% of that bed. Whatever that bed costs, you get 8% of that. If it was $1,000 bed, you get $40, you know, or $80. You know, you get $80. You know, and that so so you can make money on being an affiliate, and people don't even have to know it. You just put that link in there, and they can click on that. And there's a lot of little other ways you can make money during affiliate programs with other sites too. If you go to the internet and you type home loan and you click on the first site, that first site is an affiliate program. They refer you to a loan company. They'll refer you to Quicken Loans. Well, Quicken Loans pays them $100 for that link. Now, if you're part of that affiliate program, you can get a percentage of that. If you refer people to that link and they go to that event, you can get a percentage of that. So affiliate programming, can be a big money maker for people who want to create podcasts and can pay for your podcast. And like I said, audio podcasts are literally very inexpensive to produce, because the most important thing is a mic. Trent, what mic do you like?
What mic do I like? I like any mic that'll record my voice and be able to put the podcast on your phone. I use this Samsung, but I've done a bunch of different microphones. This is side address, so it works great. I also wanted to mention that Helena and Pete, I sent you a connection request on LinkedIn. I got a contact that I want to introduce you to in sponsorship marketing in sports and esports. I think it would be valuable to both of you. So
I
Thank you.
appreciate that, Trent.
but since you both connections.
Right on. Thank you.
Hey, you mentioned iHeartRadio in the chat here.
Well, so just the so Spreaker is a website that will help you, will like basically teach you, even, well, my grandparents aren't alive, but the idea is that it should be able to teach your grandparents how to create a podcast. And it's just made by iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio made that website. So just to say that it's legit, and it's not like some sketchy site.
I was curious because I own iHeartRadio.eth, and I actually have a meeting with someone fairly high up with the company next week.
Response time on that.
Yeah, it's just a website that was created by iHeartRadio to help people create their own podcasts.
I have a line through tomorrow.
I only found out about it because I've been listening to a podcast and I have memorized the ad at this point. I've heard it so many times.
I'm putting a bunch of links in the things too. It refers to different podcast companies that do help you out.
So you have, here's your groups.
Like there's one called Descript that you can speak into your phone. It'll convert it to text, and then you can actually you can edit it. So if you can take all the ums and ahs and stuff like that out there. Another thing that I would recommend to everybody here is there's an organization that I belong to called Toastmasters. Toastmasters is like a social organization. We meet. There's ones in every city in the country. They're all over the world. They're global, and they have one we have meets every Wednesday. I'll put that in the link. I'll put the Zoom link in there, and they meet every Wednesday from 12 to 1. And by joining Toastmasters, you learn to become a better speaker. You learn about how to take out filler words like ums and ahs and ands, learn how to structure a speech. So you have a start, a middle, and a finish. Learn how to do things like tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. These are key things in understanding how to speak well, which will help you in sales presentations. So if you need to speak to a sponsor or client or whatever, if you're doing a podcast, if you're doing if you're on the Esports Business Network and you want to give a better presentation, being able to speak well is better than just rambling off. No, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect, but they can definitely help you guys out and learn about that. So I'll invite, and you can, and if you don't want to come to the one we have, which is on a Zoom link every Wednesday at 12 to 1, you can go. You can, and there's also certain ones that are into certain things. Like Disney has several of their own Toastmaster groups within Disney. There's Sony has one. I mean, the National Hockey League has several Toastmasters organizations. And by joining the Toastmaster organization, like if you were to join the Hockey Toastmaster organization, you can then talk to other people in the hockey field in the hockey field, and they may have resources for you. They may have people you to talk to close deals. Maybe they said, oh, we were talking to this big company and they're looking for someone in this area who they can deal with, and you can, and then you can get that referral and close that deal for you. Though we just talked to Bank of America, they signed 3 hockey deals this week. You could be their 4th. So it definitely join. We said, you said earlier, join organizations that are relevant to your business, or and be a part of it and grow yourself and that organization. So that's kind of like what I'm bringing up here. So
What type of organization did you say that was again?
Toastmasters International. They're a speaking organization. They're how to be a better speaker.
Okay.
There are also other sites. There's a guy that I'm working with right now, and he helps me get people TED Talks. He helps get people TEDx talks. So you can become a TEDx speaker. Which can lead into a speaking career. And a speaking career makes you an expert. And if you're an expert, he will do business with you. And so and then also join other organizations, and like this guy Tony Robbins. I don't know. I love Tony Robbins right now. I'm a big Brian Tracy guy, but I also love Tony Robbins. I don't work for him, but when he speaks, he can help you develop some really cool business strategies and business opportunities to go out there and become a more successful salesperson or executive or whatever you want to become, whatever you are in every aspect of your life, not just in business, but also your personal life, because our personal life also reflects into our business life. What's that famous line? What we do from Gladiator, what we do here echoes into eternity. Well, what you do in one part of your life echoes into the rest of your life. So our personal life and our business life are entwined, because what we do in our personal life reflects into our business life, and our business life reflects in our personal life. And so that's definitely a thing. So you need to have, your business and your personal life all in check and in balance, and then everything is harmony. So I think we're 8 minutes over where we wanted to be. But we're going to be from 12 to 1. We actually started earlier. Trent and I got in at 12:30, I think. So if anybody want to say anything before we close this out?
No, just thank you guys. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, same. Yeah, thank you.
Are you doing this like weekly?
Yeah, we're probably gonna do it weekly. Start doing weekly. We'll do it every. We haven't determined how we're gonna do this, but this is our first one, so we're gonna start another one. We'll probably use a different subject for the second one, and we'll figure it out. And we'll keep you guys all apprised and let you guys know the links, the correct links, and the correct times, and we'll get you all set up. And if you have any comments or suggestions, we're going to send out a little questionnaire. If you could fill that out and let us know what we did better, what we could do better, and what we did that you liked, then we would love to hear that and take all those into consideration when we do these again. Okay, I really appreciate it. I'm going to share it. If anybody wants to put their contact information in the chat, and I can share, and I'll share the chat with everybody, then that would be great. I'll give you another few minutes if you want to go ahead and put your LinkedIn or your other information into the chat, and then I'll make sure I share that out with the crew.
I hate to ask, but do you mind sharing mine out for me, Jeffrey? Because I'm driving.
I will add you into the chat, and I'll make sure I send that out. Okay.
Thank you.
And then
1808. I don't know. Yeah.
I'll just say, to close out, I pretty much got everybody on LinkedIn. If not, I did drop mine in the chat. For Helena and Pete and Ben, I've got an idea for you, but I set up a group chat for Helena and Pete with a guy named Doug. I highly recommend following up with that conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, Trent's a dynamic guy. You all ought to follow him because he's definitely a dynamic guy and he's on the ball here. So
Let's not forget us following up, Trent.
Say what? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that as well. Yeah. Thirsty Minds is Joe Mans if you go on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Also, Trent, we Jeffrey mentioned about podcasts. My platform, we also able to do podcasts on TuneIn, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Podcasts simultaneously. So just kind of throwing that out there.
that sounds great. I really appreciate that.
Also messaged you, Jeff, about a topic. So can
Great.
talk to you
We'll,
about that as
we'll
well.
definitely get on that, and we'll try to merge more of what you're doing, Trent, with the Esports Business Network into that, and promote that out. Promoting everyone else is, like I said earlier, promoting everyone else is the best way to promote yourself. Helping someone up the ladder gets you up the ladder, because as they go higher, they bring you up, and then you bring them up, and then you bring them up, and that's it. So that's it. Okay, I
look forward to the
appreciate
next one.
We'll probably do it next week. I'm gonna send out we'll send out a form out in a little bit, and then we'll get back with everybody and let them know when the next one's gonna be. But I'm probably gonna be same time next week.
Wow. So
See you next week.
All right, my friend. Have a good day. Thank you.
Goodbye.